Hey guys, Javier here with The Real Javier Novoa, a channel, a platform, and a modality that applies the principles of interiorism to rapid lifestyle transformation. And in the last few videos, we've been going into the topic of wealth. And we've been going into the topic specifically of getting rich. And we need to define that more, and we're going to be doing that in several videos. But just the main question that I want you to zero in on, and I want to sort of send home, especially to our subscribers, whether it's people who are interested or people who are on the fence about this, because this is what we're going to talk about in this video, the major building block to getting through that barrier, the perceived barrier, what I've called in other videos the prison grid. And we're going to address that a little bit because a questioner, a commenter on our last video spoke about this and spoke about, perhaps inadvertently, what we've been referring to for the past year on this channel as the prison grid. The main topic is this, guys. What's your greatest fear of success? Many self-help and success writers and teachers have talked about this. Even David Allen, in his great book, Getting Things Done on Organization and on quote-unquote time management, talked about this. He talked about the fact that fear of success and stress related to success are some of the greatest triggers, are some of the greatest stressors. And I think he taught some people on Wall Street, saying that many people were relieved after the dot-com bubble burst because they said that as they were going up and as they were becoming more and more successful, they had a sort of stress and fear related to success. What David Allen explained, what we explain here, is that it's not something exterior. It's not success that is causing your stress. It's your fear of success that's causing you stress. It's not fear of success. It's a deeper fear. It's a fear due to your own issues. Now, of course, in this channel we talk about, and here's the dirty secret in the self-help industry that they don't want you to know, but it's a fact. You don't even have to get over that fear. You don't have to conquer your fears. You don't have to go in and search for your fears. You don't have to do shadow work. You don't have to go into therapy. Of course, the job of a therapist is to dig into your fears so that you'll continue reliving them, so that you'll have to continue seeing the therapist. It's not what we're about here. What we're about is having you know, having you learn, and having you find out and internalize who you are. And once you know who you are, any and all fears and stressors will simply be broken through, or they'll be worked around. And Abraham Hicks talks about this a lot, how we do not have to go and track down our fears. But for persistent fears, and for persistent resistance, and for things that you run into all the time, like for example, if you're living with someone who gets on your nerves every day and you see that person every day, it would behoove you to go in and do some internal work, do some journaling, and do some thinking around that, so that you can do what we talked about in a lot of our videos, smoothing out the film roll. You can smooth out this film roll. By doing that, you release energy to get onto the other film roll. But in general circumstances, it's not necessary to go in and conquer your fears. But in this case, it is. Because the reason so many of us are not wealthy, the reason so many of our subscribers are still on the fence, is because they have a fear, or they have some sort of emotional resistance when it comes to the time or to the point of talking about wealth and being wealthy. I hope you understand me just a little bit, because we have a subscriber who commented on the first video of our series about being wealthy, who of course said something that I don't appear to be rich and wealthy and so on and so forth, and that I'm a charlatan. And we took that in stride, and that's all fine. I really don't mind taking negative comments, negative feedback. In fact, I like it. And I always try to have my channel be a free speech platform. I'm not going to censor your speech unless there's something illegal there, or unless there's something way over the top. But I'll even give a like to your comments, any negative comments, because what it does is it gives me an opportunity to learn how I can better serve you by discussing the issues that need to be discussed or the hurdles that we need to cross. And I think this is a major hurdle for people. So this person also commented on the last video that we did about the 5-minute video about getting rich, and I'd advise you to watch that video because it addresses the only topic that you need to know, which is there is no system, there's no program. You are the program, and the program is designed, tailor-made for you as you just go out and take that first step. It's what Vadim Zeland talks about in reality transurfing, putting one foot in front of the other. But in a somewhat systematic fashion, because I didn't make any notes for this video, this is just off the cuff, I really wanted to address this. The questioner, and I'm not going to read the comment, but they basically said, getting wealthy is a scam, it's a game, and basically the people that get wealthy exit the game, but then they perpetuate it, and that we just need to get out of that game altogether. And I think a lot of people's fear or negative emotions around wealth have to do, first of all, with a scarcity mentality. We know that. My gain is your loss. And I need not revert to any spiritual teachings. I need not revert to anything in interiorism. You don't have to accept interiorism to know that that is extremely and highly fallacious. What I encourage people to do is do a cursory study of economics, especially read The Austrian Economist. If you do nothing else, read Human Action by Ludwig von Mises, because he explains the inner workings of the economy in a way that's not too technical and that's easily understandable by the layperson. But one of the main aspects of economics is the fact that wealth is not stagnant. If you think about a pie, wealth is not a stagnant pie. Why? Because most people think being rich is about having money. And this is a huge fallacy, and we're going to try to debunk it in this video and other videos, but it's the hugest fallacy in the world. Being wealthy is not about money. But back to this. When you give someone your money, you're receiving in return goods and services. And of course, as we know from elementary supply and demand, the more a service is demanded, the price rises. When the price rises, entrepreneurs go in to fill that demand, and so the supply rises. As the supply rises, the price goes lower. And the price mechanism, or the price system, is basically the indicator for the producers of the society as to what to produce. The greatest supercomputer cannot know, without the mechanism of prices, what to produce. How would it know what hamburgers are going to be demanded by the population when the majority of the population doesn't even know when or where they're going to demand a hamburger, or whether they're going to demand a hamburger, or whether they're going to want a hamburger today or how many they're going to want this week? I hope you understand me just a little bit. So it's a constant dynamic system. The only mechanism that holds this system together is the price system. So therefore, the people who read those mechanisms, those price mechanisms, sometimes accurately and sometimes inaccurately, those are the entrepreneurs who go in to fill a need. So being financially rich only means that you have contributed more than that to society, that you've produced goods and services and so on and so forth. So get this thought out of your mind that your gain is another's loss. It is economically fallacious. You have to educate yourself just a little bit in economics. Of course, if we go into the spiritual aspect, in interiorism, we know this is not the case, because you are everything. Everything is within you. And of course, in interiorism, even the rules of economics do not apply, because there's no scarcity, because anything can be produced from within. Therefore, your wealth is definitely not to the detriment of anyone else. Second of all, very important, being wealthy is not about money. If you read the greatest writers on wealth, if you read the philosophers of wealth, even if you go into reading and studying someone like Robert Kiyosaki, who is very good, while we have our issues with some of his works, he's very good at explaining the elementary principles of accounting, entrepreneurship, and how to become wealthy. Robert Kiyosaki says the wealthy do not work for money, guys. Being rich is not about money. Even if you study some of the accounting literature about net worth, I remember one of the first books in accounting that I studied, probably about 15, 16 years ago in my 20s, talked about just going into the fact that net worth is a very fallacious concept. It's basically trying to price all of your assets according to the fluctuations of the market and according to where you bought it at. And some people disagree of how to price that and so on and so forth. It's not about money, guys. It's about acquiring assets. And it's not even about that. When we get more into the personal zone of wealth, which to me is synonymous with rapid lifestyle transformation, it's basically just this: having the freedom to have what you want when you want it. And one of the major pitfalls of this is, guys, and you have to listen clearly to this, you have to listen carefully to this, because we made videos about this in the beginning of the channel. Vadim Zelen talks about it in Reality Transurfing. Here's the secret. You want to hear the secret? The desire has to be yours, guys. That is going to rule out a lot of the superfluous desires. That's going to rule out a lot of the materialism which perhaps the commenter was concerned about. This is another fear about people, or that people have, especially people who follow the spiritual community and follow spiritual teachings, is that they think wealth is not spiritual because it's materialistic. But that's not the case, guys, because a lot of these people who want to have Lambos and who want to have nice jewelry and things like that, even people who want to have a big house, this is oftentimes not for them. This is for the purpose of showing off. This is for the purpose of validation in the outer world. And what interiorism teaches you is that you need no validation from the outer world. So therefore, a lot of these desires are going to be thrown away as people delve into the teachings of interiorism, as people journal, and as people clarify exactly what their desires are. It has to be your desire. Of course, being that you are the one and you're all-powerful, you can make any desire your desire. You can use self-talk, you can use affirmations, but that's just, guys, that's like a waste of time. Why would you want to do that with your time? Rather, why don't you just pursue your desires, the desires that are yours? And I believe everyone has the desire to be financially independent, to be financially free, and to basically craft his or her own schedule, and to be able to travel to the places that he or she wants to travel to. That's all we're talking about here, guys. That's wealth. And that's why, a lot of people have also commented that I need to upgrade my studio here and my equipment. It's never been really an interest of mine to do so, although I am going to do so. We're going to be upgrading the studio, we're going to be upgrading the equipment, and I actually have some exciting announcements coming out about that. But if it was just, and this is for the case of being able to bring more people in, and for the sake of being able to appear more legitimate, so on and so forth, but if it were for me, I don't really care about the environment. What matters is the message, guys. And you're never going to see me, driving a Lamborghini, because I don't care about a Lamborghini. I'd probably rather drive a really nice truck. You're never going to see me with a watch going like this, or jewelry, or you might see me with a tie on from time to time, but I really don't care about these things. These are not my desires. So the point is, the definition of wealth to me is going to be much different and much more distinct than the definition of wealth for you or for the next person. What we're aiming to do in these videos is to teach the general principles for living with abundance, for living with prosperity. Because if you don't have abundance, if you don't have prosperity, then you're not going to be able to bring into focus and to bring into physicality all those creations that you came to create. That's all we're saying, guys. Look at your fears around wealth. That's why you're not there. Look at your thoughts and your misconceptions. Study, guys. Don't even just study spirituality. Study economics. Realize what drives the economy and what actual wealth is. It's all production based, and it's the only rational system that humans have come up with that is able to basically direct all of the distinct desires in the economy into one. So I hope you understood me just a little bit. Don't beat up on wealth. Your destiny and your duty is to become wealthy and to have abundance and to give abundance. And we're going to be talking about this more in these videos. How you can get independent of the prison grid. How you can be free from a job and a boss. I think we all want that. And it's going to be great for the world, guys. Do you think it's good for the world that everyone is basically compelled to go to these jobs? These quote-unquote jobs are so outdated, outmoded. It's time for you to be independent and to direct your own schedule, stemming from the principles of knowing who you are. So thanks for watching, guys. Please subscribe to the channel. Soon we are taking off, and we are aiming to get to 1,000 subscribers in the next few months. That's when we can get the algorithm really in our favor. We can start touching more lives, and we can start taking it to the next level. I am doing coaching calls. I will put my email in the description, using my years of experience in business, entrepreneurship, and in consulting to help you give a power punch to all of your objectives. So email me. Thanks for watching, guys, and we will be releasing a lot more interesting videos this week. Until very soon, this is Javier with much love and appreciation. Ciao.